Hi everybody, it's Thursday the 27th of September and I am finally home. What I learnt this week: Ryanair aren't very good at communications or customer services, but get what you pay for, I guess. I also learnt that when I'm well, like when I'm not having a PMDD episode, I can actually cope with things really, really well, like a lot better than I ever thought possible, because obviously I've never had these episodes where I'm well. My PMDD was so out of control that I was just always ill. I think Dr. Tori Alsenholm in America, she explains that like chronic and severe PMDD can often get mistaken for borderline personality disorder or traits of emotionally unstable personality disorder. That was definitely me, because I sort of got to this stage where it was really hard to differentiate the good times because they were so limited, and that good week or good 2 weeks I was spending trying to deal with the guilt and the anxiety of everything that I'd done during the bad weeks, and it just becomes like Laura's project says, like a vicious cycle. It literally does, like where you're constantly in a mess, you're chaotic and out of control. Anyway, this morning I woke up and yeah, it's coming again. I knew it was coming on Tuesday. I remember texting my psychologist and I said, like, it's been 12 days since last episode and I'm just putting it out there that things are very self-aware, and things are starting to slide and my sleep's a little bit off. I know that I've got physical symptoms of anxiety and having like lots of thoughts that they're like controllable. It's not like I would act on them, but thoughts that I would rather not have. Spending the day in Italy trying to make the best of the situation and being aware of it, but sort of keeping myself distracted, the thoughts coming in and out every time I wasn't distracted, which was hard, but you know, there was a lot to do in Italy and that was fine. The next day was Wednesday, where I was very challenged, you could say, in terms of my ability to manage my emotions when they're starting to become emotionally dysregulated, because I had a lot to deal with as our flight was cancelled. And not only was it cancelled, they told us that we couldn't fly back till Sunday initially. So we were told, yeah, fly back on Sunday. I was like, that is not going to happen. I've got PMDD. And that's really hard, knowing that you're going to be really poorly and that everything is completely out of your control in terms of not only my own treatment, but also like my flights, and there was such a lack of communication, it was unreal. I actually so we were queuing in this queue to change our tickets, whilst phoning Ryanair, whilst being on a queue to chat to them online. Initially they said they could not do anything apart from change our flight to Sunday. Then they moved and said, well, we can get you to Leeds on Friday. I was like, okay, that's better. Then we found out that Ryanair have got a strike on Friday, so that was not going to happen. And yeah, it was just complete chaos basically. Eventually at 5 o'clock we found out that we'd managed to get on a standby flight to Stansted. So we were literally ran over to check-in. When we got to check-in, they said, oh, you could go to fly to Leeds Bradford. And so I was like, maybe, like thinking I've got family and friends in Leeds or Yorkshire, Sheffield area, but equally travel links aren't as good. Like, it's easier and cheaper to stay in London, probably easier and cheaper to get back. Oh, it was just, we had to make like on the spot decision, and in the end we said we'll go to Leeds. Really, really lucky that we did, because we actually flew back to Leeds last night, whereas the people that were on standby for the Stansted flight, the Stansted flight didn't actually leave Pisa. So I know there's lots and lots of things going on, like there's the airstrikes, but there's also like terrible situation that there's been a big fire in Pisa, and so all the airspace is being dedicated to sending out rescue RAF planes, and the RAF like dumping water basically on the forest and the fire. So yeah, I completely understand that it's not Ryanair's fault, but Ryanair's customer service was appalling. Anyway, long story short, I got home. Woohoo! My parents came and picked me and Sam up from Leeds just last night, and I came home. Sam said yesterday that actually you can tell that the switch has flipped. Like, she said, you're becoming really chaotic, you're like flipping from one thing to the other, you can't keep focused on anything. She said, I've really noticed a big change in you. And so this morning I got up, and it's the worst feeling in the world is having PMDD, and knowing that there's actually nothing that you can do to stop this. This is a physical change, and as much as I can put into place taking medications and getting support and all those things, I can't stop it happening. It's going to happen. It's the inevitable. And I think what I do is I panic a little bit, and I know that I don't want to go into hospital, I don't want to be poorly, and so I try and ring all my care team to try and get support. Well, I'm trying to kind of avoid the inevitable. There isn't anything that they can do that's not already in place, but I like ring them all, and it's because I want help and I don't want to be ill, I don't want to go into hospital, and realistically that's what's going to happen, and I hate it. And so yeah, I know that I'm really emotionally dysregulated at the moment, but it's not bad enough to be in hospital, although my care team are kind of saying that it is, and they've tried to advise me that I go to hospital because they know how fast things change for me. And that yes, today I'm sort of thinking, well, I've got these urges but I can manage them, but within 24 hours that could be me not managing them. So I'm going to go over to the hospital in a moment, and I've got to hand some meds in because I've got too many here, the risk's too high. And then I'm going into another city to meet up with one of the doctors that's on the National Society for PMS panel, and talk to her about my presentation, and she's been a great support to me. And then after that I'm helping out with the local eating disorder support group. Yeah, it's just the worst thing ever. Like, I hate it. I hate PMDD, and I'm in that phase where I really do hate it, and I just want it to stop. And like, the thoughts are there, and I'm so chaotic, it's unreal. Like, I'm switching about from one thing to the other, and to be honest, I'm not really sure I know what I'm doing at the moment. Like, my washing, I emptied half of the load. About an hour later, found the other half in the washing machine still. How can you only empty half a load? I mean, how ridiculous. Yeah, my care team have said, told me to write a list of everything that I need to do and at what times I need to do it to try and calm my mind a little bit. But yeah, things are going bad. It's been exactly 2 weeks today since the switch flipped, and I went from really emotionally dysregulated and poorly to I'm okay again now. So it's now going the other way, which is horrible. I just want PMDD to stop. I hate it. The worst thing is waking up in the morning and feeling completely out of control and knowing that you're going to be poorly and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. It's horrible. Anyway, time to get on with my day. See you later, guys.